Oh, hello everyone. Michael Gracia here for a special Get in Tune. I kind of put this one together quickly. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. In a little bit, Ray Felix will be popping on as possibly another guest. Um, I don't know why this gets blurry every now and then. Let me see. So I'm not drawing tonight. Let me just fix my camera to remove that blurriness here. FaceTime camera, and then we're gonna move over to here. Okay, so I'm back. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about the news that came out earlier today about the actors joining the writer strike. The actors are going to go on strike as well. So let me. Oh, hold on. I just want to remove a tab here because it's something I'm thinking of purchasing, and you guys don't need to see that. So let me open the window here. So Variety made this post earlier today about the SAG actors list strike rules for members for no premieres, award shows, social media, and FYC events and more. Now, here's the thing. I was curious how this would affect conventions, and I invited Ray and my friend Mike Lopez on tonight to discuss it. We've all done cons. Mike works a lot with celebrities at shows. Ray's an artist like me, and I just wanted to hear different perspectives. I'm not attacking anybody, any actors, any artists, any show promoters. It's just something I'm very curious about. Now, let me explain where I stand on shows. I've come on this show and I've complained not about any show in particular, but the idea of conventions. Now, I would never tell anyone they cannot make money, especially if it's honest. I would never say you can't be at a show, you can't do anything. And I am friendly with a few people that are celebrities in the celebrity section. I even spoke with one before I came on the air just to see their point of view on this. And I'm not going to bring them on. I didn't ask for them to come on. I don't want to, point any fingers to any people I know. And here's the thing, and my friends know this. If it's called a comic book convention, I personally don't think celebrities should be at those shows because it should be for the comic books. But if it's not referred to anywhere in the title as a comic book convention, it's just a convention, or a con or a fest, whatever, something like that, then sure, bring the celebrities, because all of a sudden you took the word comic out of it, and it doesn't mean it's strictly about comics anymore. So when I do a comic book convention or a comic con, the celebrities I want to see there are celebrity comic artists. But if I'm doing a show that has the term con in there, but the word comic is out of it, then I'm happy to see celebrities. I'm happy to be part of it. I'm happy to go hang out, do the whole thing. Let all the celebrities come and make as much money as they can. That is what is important. Now this comes out and basically saying, as of midnight tonight, it's currently Thursday, July 13th. At midnight tonight, the actors will officially be on strike, and tomorrow morning we'll actually, strike with the writers strike there. So as we scroll down this article, I'm not going to go into the whole thing and go into it, but this is what's interesting to me. So here are things that they cannot do. These are actors. Principal on-camera work such as acting, singing, dancing, performing stunts, piloting on-camera aircraft, puppeteering, performance capture, or motion capture work. Principal off-camera work such as ADR, looping, TV trailers, promos, and theatrical trailers, voice acting, singing, narration, including audio descriptive services, except as services may be covered by another collective bargaining agreement referred to in the notice to members regarding non-struck work. Stunt coordinating and related services, and related services, background work, stand-in work, photo and or body doubles, fittings, wardrobe tests and makeup tests, rehearsal and camera tests, scanning, interviews, and auditions, including self-taped, promotion of publicity services for work under TV theatrical contracts such as tours, personal appearances, interviews, conventions, fan expos, festivals, for your consideration events, panels, premieres, screenings, award shows, junkets, podcast appearances, social media, studio showcases, and then negotiating and or entering into or consenting to an agreement to perform covered services in the future, any new agreement related to merchandising connected to a covered project, the creation and use of digital replicas, including through the reuse of prior work, and performing on a trailer for a struck production or an ancillary content connected to the struck production. All right. So that's everything that they say the SAG actors cannot do. Now, what is that? Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm getting a phone call where I'm going to hang up on the phone and text. No, I answered it. Hold on. Right on the air. Just pop on. Okay. Sorry. Ray is was talking to me. Let's see. He's texting me back. Let's see. Okay. I'm sorry. I won't tell you what I'm writing. Okay. So anyway, so what does all this mean? What really is interesting, and this is what I want to have a conversation with both Mike and Ray. This is the section right here that really happens to affect actors doing conventions. And here's the thing: is promotion of publicity services for work under the TV theatrical contracts, such as. Now, okay. So basically, this is how I'm interpreting it after I spoke to one of my friends who goes to shows as a celebrity. And I'm not saying what they said was correct. It was their interpretation. And and it gave me a different understanding. So basically, the way I understand it now is, for example, when they say promotion and publicity service for work under the TV theatrical contract, that means current work. So a show that could be affected is something like San Diego Comic-Con, where they bring a guest who is in a movie that's coming out real soon. And they're coming out to promote the movie. And then let's say you have an actor like William Shatner. William Shatner, he's not in anything, but he's Star Trek and all his other shows, and he's coming to do a Star Trek I mean, I don't know if it affects Star Trek in any way that's being on the Paramount that he's network that he's not in, but at the same time, could he come and promote the original series for something he did so many years ago? I don't know. To me, that sounds like it's okay, but because Star Trek is still on the air, could that hurt him? You know. So then you look at like, I'm trying to think of someone that hasn't been on the air lately, or even that has, like, okay, currently on, what is it, Hulu, is the Animaniacs cartoon, the new Animaniacs cartoon, and it got a new season. So would the voice actors from that show be allowed to go and promote it because the show is currently in production? The way I interpret it, no, we would not be able to see them at a show. Am I wrong about that? Possibly. I don't know. But this is what I'm trying to figure out, because San Diego Comic-Con is next week. And as you guys know, I'm in New York. Local to me in New York is in Connecticut in 2 weeks is Terrificon. And Terrificon, I'd have to go in and pull up who their actors are, but could it hurt these type of shows right now? You know, we got someone coming on. We got
over.
Mike.
Then just hit the start stop button and the purging.
And he disappeared. He wasn't supposed to be watching what he was watching on the air, I guess. So, but yeah, so that's my interpretation of things right now. I'm going to bring them on because I want to hear. Like I said, Mike works a lot with celebrities at shows. So, and Ray is from the comic end, and I'm technically I'm more of on the comic end, but because I know certain people in the celebrity section, I understand a little bit of both sides. Let's see. No one's coming back on. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So, and this is one of the things I'm going to ask Ray when he comes on. How is this going to affect artists at shows? Now, for those who are unaware of how shows work, the promoter or the person running the show is going to book a venue. That's going to cost money. Then they're going to have to get tables and chairs, more money. They're going to need insurance, more money. Then they're going to have to charge people for those tables and chairs, and that's where the artists and vendors come in, at a rate somewhat higher so they can cover their expenses and still make some and still have money left over that they could use in the budget for things like bringing in celebrities, which sometimes they just get sponsors for those. They'll do things like pre-sales of autographs and photo ops and things. So those are things that'll happen. They will, they'll do things. They'll bring in the celebrities. Then the celebrities have contracts in certain ways, whether they have some have guarantees, which means if they don't make a certain amount by the end of the show has to pay it out to them. So this is basically how shows are put together. But things still need to be advertised. They have to put money into social media advertising, actual advertising, buying banners that says the show title 2023 or whatever year it's coming out. They'll have to get banners for the celebrities, nameplates and badges made up, booklets made up. There's lots of things that go to it. So paying, so if let's say a table for, realistically a table, let's say, is for the venue, let's say is $20. I know that might be a little high, might be a little low, but it's $20. They may charge the artist, say, $100. Now, the reason for that is, number one, they need to pay for everything. Plus, they're giving the artist a space to show off their work. All right. So the artist is actually paying for a space that allows them advertising. All right. Now it also may be based on days, and they can say, well, if this table's worth $100 and it's a 3-day show, maybe I should be charging $300 or $250. They cut a deal. You know, that's the way shows work. And it also inside some celeb contracts, they may have things needed in the green room, like they should have, you know, they need to have a turkey sandwich for lunch. All right, so they have to make sure there's turkey sandwiches there for the celebrity. It is a bunch of different things. Hold on, let's get Ray popping in here. Hey, Ray. Is he?
No, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes,
So
I can.
you are a little late to the show. It's okay. I will explain what I've been talking about.
Right.
I went over the contract here, that, you know, the points of the contract.
Right.
And I started talking about how this will affect shows. And I was explaining how shows work. And you've put shows on, so you know that unless you're getting the venue for free, you need to pay for the venue, you need to pay for tables and chairs, you need to pay for signage and advertising, you need to pay for insurance, you need to pay for all these things. There's a lot that goes into it. And if a table, let's say, and with 2 chairs is going to cost you $20, you might charge the artist $100 for the weekend or for a day or whatever it is, so
Right.
that you have extra money to cover the other stuff I was just talking about. So with that said, and some celebrities having guarantees as they come to the show, you know, if they cannot attend, how does that affect the show, and how does that affect artists? Now, this was my point that I was bringing up.
Right.
If, you know, a show is going to have someone who's like a really big name, they're going to do pre-sales of tickets, pre-sales of photo ops, autographs, just, you know, whatever. They'll have all these things, so they'll have this money coming in even before the show begins. So they'll have money to pay for things.
Yeah.
Now, what, you know, with all that, if a celebrity or celebrities need to cancel their appearance,
Yeah.
because of
Think
that,
about the money they're going to lose.
they're going to lose a lot of money. They're going to ask for ticket sales back because they're coming specifically for that
Yeah.
celebrity. They're going to have to pay back the photo ops, all this money that's probably already been spent.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of Chapter 11s.
so will this
Sorry.
affect the show, that the show could be canceled, or will this be a blessing for the artist, as in, well, there's no celebrities, now they have to come for what we have on our tables?
Well, that's the thing. I honestly feel that these shows have gotten out of control. You know, we were the reason for people to come to these shows, not these celebrities before. And then the dynamic changed, you know, the cosplay thing and the act. It seemed like the celebrity thing was already in place before, and then the cosplay thing came in after. And then that was like the last, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for the artist, because it was already difficult doing a show and you're kind of competing with the known artist versus you. And then I don't know about here, but, you know, in the East Coast, but I mean, celebrity things were just, I remember when I started doing shows in the 2000s, the only celebrities you had were comic book celebrities. And then, and they're not unionized, so they're not going to be affected by this. And then it became like wrestlers started coming in and all these companies. And then you competed with each other as indie artists. And then the cosplayers came in, but they weren't really like a thing at the time. You know, they're just people dressing in costumes. Sometimes they were creators dressed in costume. And I think, you know, and San Diego was already a thing for a while, but the East Coast really didn't get a taste of that until way later. with the explosion of the Japanese, I would say like New York, with the anime cons coming in, that's when it really hit. The anime cons really blew it up. Um, and I still think predominantly are the anime cons are the ones that really hold it strong, but they bled over. Once New York Comic Con merged Anime Con with New York Comic Con, then it was a thing where you started seeing like tons and tons of cosplayers. And then they started going to other shows. So it wasn't just the big shows, it was like the little ones too. And then they started getting tables and selling photos and stuff. So, and then the actors, and then more celebrities, and then TV actors, and then so it just like it was no longer about comics. So I feel bad for those actors that got a new niche, but they're still, at the end of the day, they're still actors. They're still making money. They're still under contract. It's not easy being an actor, but it's not easy for freelancers either. So it's almost like we're fighting for the same nut. So I think that on one hand, it's bad for the conventions. They're going to lose a lot of money. They may have a lot of canceled shows. But if they don't cancel, because they really can't afford to lose it all, then guess what? Then it's a return for us. This is our time to really, people come back to read, because that's what comic book conventions are about, reading. Right? And collecting comics, and and then getting art from us, sorry, I just dropped something. It's kind of, I'm having difficulty maneuvering my body because I have a new cast. I have a hard cast now. So
Nice.
Gotta,
Nice.
So I'm gonna be in this for a while. So
Are you still in the wheelchair right now? Or are you in a regular chair? Or what are you?
I'm in a regular chair right now. I'm using my little peg leg, my little my Captain Hook leg here. This robot thing, and my wheelchair I keep in the car now. So just in case I need to, I did a show this weekend and I was in the wheelchair during the show.
I saw photos of that.
Peg leg and wheelchair. It was good. It was a zine fest, and actually, talk about reading. The zine fest are not comic dominated because most people don't read comics. I brought some comics there. They didn't really sell well. Before doing comic books, I did magazines, like cartoon strips, kind of like your Wiz.
Yeah.
Some of them were politically driven, some of them were like neighborhood, like talking about the neighborhood, social, like talking about gentrification. Excuse me. There was a magazine in Brooklyn, like Dogs, years ago, like all the way back in the 2000s, like 2000, 2001, 2002. And between 2001 and 2002, I did a strip in a magazine called 11211, which was a Brooklyn magazine. I came across a bunch of them, and I brought them to the show. I was like, hey, maybe I'll bring some of these, and they sold.
Yeah.
And I did my adult magazine zine, which was a comedy cartoon thing. I sold a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
sorry, I was just cleaning up to look to see because I didn't realize. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I just letting you know. Sometimes I'm looking off in the other direction because I did not realize I did not set this up to go to my Get in Tune Facebook page, but rather than my personal page.
Right.
And I can, for some reason, I could see my Get in Tune page in the comments here, but if I go to my personal Facebook page, I can't see the comments, so I have it set up there. I was just looking.
No, that's fine. And then I did my very first comic book was a magazine called God: The Second Coming. That sold. So all my first 4 books, the No One Anthology, which was like a anthology of artists, that sold well. And it was black and white. People wanted like low grade stuff, but people were buying newspapers. $40 for a newspaper or $20 for a newspaper. Like, remember the back in the day in the Mocha with the stapled comic book?
Yeah. Listen, so I got a bunch of those.
The Zine Fest, that's what people were mainly selling, that or photography books. My friend Clayton was selling his tattoo book that just came out, so it was actually good to get that type of atmosphere that's nothing superhero really sold well. I mean, I sold like maybe one Punchline and maybe like, I think Tom and I sold maybe like 9 Trump lands, so it was good. I mean, graphic novels were selling, but we were the only ones selling comics in that show.
That's good. So let me just explain, because I didn't get to explain this, I think, when you came on, and I did explain it before. But when I look at this, and it says promotion of publicity services for work under the TV theatrical contract, such as all these things. After chatting with someone, I'm coming to believe this means current projects. So, for example, let's say there was a new Marvel movie and Robert Downey Jr. was signed to go to
Thank you.
San Diego to make an appearance, because it's contractually obligated for him to go to San Diego, make an appearance, and talk about the film.
Right.
He will not be able to attend
Right.
because it's a current project.
Right.
But if he was going to a show strictly to talk about an old movie, say Chaplin, that he did, that's not out right now. It's not no one's talking about Chaplin. He's not going out to promote anything current, so he would be allowed to attend that show. But he would not be allowed to talk about whatever he just did for Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What about signing photographs and all that?
as long, from what I understand, as long as it's not of the character he would be playing, he would be okay. But when you do conventions, and San Diego's a big con, they have everybody there. New York does it a bit too. But when you have a smaller show, the smaller shows tend to have more voice actors over there.
Right.
I mean, they do have other actors, on-screen actors, but they tend to be more voice actor. And I gave the example of, on Hulu right now, is the Animaniacs cartoon. They've been signed for another season, what I believe. So the voice actors of the Animaniacs cartoon cannot attend a show and promote Animaniacs. That's how I'm understanding it.
Right.
But if you're going to go see somebody like Jess Harnell or Rob Paulson or Tress MacNeille, who are the three main characters, they were the Animaniacs in the 90s. How do you not want to hear them, do stuff? Or Rob was Pinky, and these characters still appear, though. That's where I'm believing the issue is. So somebody like, I'm trying to think of a voice actor, but somebody, let's say, who was on a show 20, 30 years ago,
Right.
whose show might be on a streaming service now. It's not on the air. It's not being promoted anywhere. It's an old show. It ended up on Tubi, let's say.
Right.
They can attend and talk about the show because it's not a current project.
Right.
There's no current project with the character in development at this time.
Makes sense.
So that's how I'm understanding this. But again, the effect of having to cancel appearances.
Right. Seems like everyone's going to be hit in some
Yeah, in some way. How
shows might just be outright canceled for the summer.
You think shows in general, or?
I mean, if they don't have a strong lineup, if they had all their eggs in one basket for an acting, for mostly actors like those, like the one that the CW that one was, that one in Jersey that's all CW people and no comic book people. It's just
I know the one you're talking. I don't remember the name of it.
Fanfare Con or some crap like that.
Mm.
Those are
I hear they're not like as involved with it anymore.
Right.
I've heard stories.
I think those are the ones that would be. Those would probably be the ones that would be affected the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, but okay. So, what I'm curious, because you're as an artist, someone who's put on shows, someone who's done things, is there a way, a show that has to cancel celebrities, that may lose ticket sales because they have to refund money, photo ops and all the pre-sales?
Well, I had a venue, as you know, like I was doing the Women in Comic show that I founded
Mhm.
at the end of 2021, and I was canceled by the library for it's not a big convention hall. They donated the space, but then they undonated the space, and I had to cancel and return money to all vendors, all
Mhm.
speakers. We didn't have actors, so to speak, but we did have like a lot of comic book professionals, and basically it was canceled, and that really put a dent in me. Like I literally had lost a ton of money,
So
and
you
then
lost money out of pocket.
yeah, and they weren't even willing to uh, accommodate those losses, like promotions. You're talking about postcards,
Yeah.
banners, all this stuff.
Now,
So I
let
just said I'm no longer going to work with those people because they're unprofessional.
yeah. Now let me ask you this, and because this was going to be the second part of my what I was saying.
Mhm.
Is there a way to salvage this for shows that may benefit the artists, or is this like, if you do you think if celebrities start disappearing from the shows right now, the cons are just not going to be able to afford to run?
Yeah, I think they probably won't. They probably, like I said, Chapter 11s because if you have to pay the guarantees before the show.
Yeah.
From what I understand is that
What do you mean guarantees for what? The guarantees for the celebrities? No, that's
usually
I've never
paid in advance.
I've never seen that. I have actually had to get money for a celebrity friend a couple of times,
Mhm.
and I talk with the people at the venue who are putting the show on and say, um, they did not meet their guarantee. This is how much of the guarantee they made. This is what they need, and I have to wait for them to come over with an envelope of cash.
Right.
So I've never seen them. That might be an old way of working, but I've never seen them pay in advance a guarantee
Mhm.
for a celebrity.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
I had spoke to somebody. Maybe they're not paid in advance, but maybe they're paid like I guess when they appear or whatever. But what I understood that you had to pay something and to guarantee that they're going to get paid.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. No,
no, but
never
this,
really. I never had to pay celebrities. Most of the people I did in my shows were comic personalities,
mhm,
and that was more like an exchange, like you give them a table and or you buy them lunch or dinner, or like Erwin Hasten, I got him a car.
mhm,
You know, like I picked him up in the morning with Danny Fingeroff and Jim Salicrup, and there was another fellow in there who was a friend of Hasten's, and we just drove together to the show. But at the end, he was not feeling well after he did his panel. He was ready to go home. He made whatever money he thought he was going to make, and then
yeah,
just paid for a car to send them all home.
yeah.
Um, um,
So
so I mean, that's Erwin Hasten and those guys are big celebrities, but in the comic book world,
in the comic book world, yes.
yeah. Now, I didn't have to pay for an appearance, so to speak, uh, but Jim Lee charges for appearances. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, he has that level, and I'm not saying others don't, the ones you just mentioned like Irwin and stuff, but
No,
they had a right to ask for stuff. It's up to the convention to say, yes, we believe you're worth it and we will give it to you.
right.
you know like
Every
like
show's
so
different.
yeah, so um Jim Lee is someone that a lot of people love his work, going back to his time on the X-Men, when
Hmm.
he started doing, his own company, when he started doing,
Right.
when he did Batman. Like, everybody thinks Jim Lee is a, could be like the god of comics to an era
Hmm.
of fans and even some artists. That's what Jim Lee is. And listen, he's a fantastic artist.
Did I ever show you that when I was younger, I used to take his Punisher drawings. I love them so much. I was like, man, he'd be a great Batman artist. So in the '90s, before he even did Batman, I would draw his Punisher and change him into Batman. I even did a whole comic book of just ripping off Jim Lee panels and turning them into Batman. Just the Punisher is Batman. So I was kind of like, as a fan of his work, like, because I loved his X-Men and stuff, I always, so when he actually did Batman, I was like totally like blown away, like, wow, that it's even better, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
than me ripping it off. Yeah, but I had the foresight to see this guy would be a great Batman artist, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, he was great on Batman. I mean, listen, I'll never knock his work. I think he's a fantastic artist.
Yeah.
I mean, his work isn't 100% for me in the styles that I thoroughly enjoy in comics.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's not a bad art. I mean, like if I could draw like him, I would. You know,
Right.
you know. Dylan had a question for you, Ray.
What's that?
What were you eating? Because you know you came in, looked like a nice thing of pasta.
Doing the Harvey Bullock.
You know, you know, we need to teach you to eat pasta with a spoon as well, or just a shovel. I mean, was that what you had? Some pasta?
I had this noodle that my wife makes. It's I guess I don't know if it's an official Taiwanese dish, but she calls it poor kid noodle. It's like when you don't really have anything to put in your noodles. It's like, but we had like shredded chicken. She put chicken in it. Usually you just have it. It's like a meatless dish usually. So you take like peanut butter, soy sauce, garlic, you chop scallions, and then you take peanut butter, and then you mix it all together with the noodles, like the rice noodles. And so she threw chicken in there, so it's not really pork and noodle, but it's kind of like the same.
Hey, it sounds good.
We just threw in some like chopped up leftover Costco chicken, and that was dynamite. That's why you saw me slurping away like, oh, it's good. I'm like, I can't let it get cold.
And that's your Astro Boy shirt you got on today.
Yeah, it's like which is funny. They just put Astro. They didn't even put the boy part on there, but it's like, yeah, it's just a Astro Boy. Yeah, this is South Pole did a whole line of Astro Boy clothes, jackets, everything. I went crazy. They had them on sale. These shirts were selling for like $30 a pop.
Wow.
And then I was like, I wanted it, but I was like, I'm gonna hold off. I bet you they're gonna, clothing stores. It went down to $10. So I just bought everything that they had in my size.
Let me see, because we're gonna have a special guest pop on in a bit.
Is this ML? Is this ML?
No, you know him. He's a little. Me and him share a name.
No, as I said, yeah. So yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
Well, as I just said, his initials.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear. I thought you said.
I said
ML. So
yeah,
because you know what. Here's the thing, because I do want to continue talking about this. I know we sidetracked for a moment, but I do want to continue talking about this because, like I said,
it's a great thing for me because I could do shows and make more money. I don't have to compete with anybody.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and the reason I want Mike on is because he works with celebrities, so I want to hear his take on it.
I don't mean to sound selfish, but
Well, listen. I mean, I go there for artwork. I go there for artists. I was at 2 shows this week, and I was at Eternal Con on Saturday. I did
nice.
2 panels. I wasn't there selling, but I did 2 panels, and I had a great time.
Right.
Went out to lunch with not lunch. Went out to dinner with a bunch of friends afterward, and then the next day I was at Contropolis, and again I hung out with friends, did a little shopping, and had a great dinner with some friends that night.
What's Contropolis? What is that?
Contropolis is another show. I don't know who the official promoter is. Someone told me it's the same one who puts on the Rhode Island show, but I don't know if that's 100% true, so I don't want to be held to that. But he's putting on shows in different states. So this one was Contropolis, New Jersey. It was in Jersey. It was in Secaucus over in the Meadowlands Center where Cliff Show used to be.
Really?
So it was there.
Yeah, Cliff hung up his boots.
Yes, yes.
Which is, I guess technically I have two, but I was forced to. It's just like seems like I was forced to do it because I got canceled out. I just got frustrated. Like, why am I killing myself if these people are like canceling my events? It's like But I mean, I'm gonna do another one.
Yeah.
Just
Listen, I used to put on shows actually with Mike Lope. I mean, still kind of do it. But he's really doing the running of the show now,
Right.
with Incredicon, and
It's a lot
I have it is, and I don't want to do that work, but I have thought about doing a strict Comic Con.
right.
This is something that I've thought about for a very long time.
Yeah.
I was discussing it with our mutual friend who passed, Dan, and
Right.
we were talking about doing shows, and it was going to be, and I still feel this way.
Right.
It was going to be a comic book convention that was for comics. It wasn't going to be celebrity based. If there were celebrities there, they were going to be celebrity artists.
Right. Right.
The convention itself was, if you were going to table there,
Right.
you needed to have a product. You couldn't have prints.
Right.
If you and if you do have prints, you had to prove you worked on the characters. So if you were there with Spider-Man prints and you never worked on Spider-Man, they weren't allowed to be there. Like,
Right.
we were strictly, the idea was not just to what was I going to say?
No,
Sorry, I was writing Mike back. But the idea was to really promote
It's like,
indie comic people.
of course.
It was to be like, okay, you have a book, awesome, you get a table. You have this product, awesome. You're an independent animator, awesome, you get a table. You have a product to show.
Yeah.
But no actual, like, just print people, no craft people, none of that. And
Right.
maybe a couple, like, we'd limit it, but maybe
Nobody
some.
selling cookies. No one could sell cookies at the show.
No. But maybe limit the amount of comic vendors as well. You
Right.
know, so there would be actual books there, but you
Right.
know,
Makes
not
sense.
a bunch of people selling an art. Because once you have like more than like 3 or 4 vendors, in my opinion,
Right.
they may all have basically the same book, and then it's really just who you're haggling with the best, or
Right.
who's advertising. So, and we weren't planning to make it big, but that was a show we discussed doing.
That's I always loved the model of Mocha, which is one of the hardest shows to get into.
Is it? I did it the first like 3, maybe 4 years they had it.
Now, no, it's a totally different animal now with that's like the indie celebrities and the indie publishers now more than, you know what I mean? It's like it's become a different animal for as far as conventions. But when they first started, it was an indie show, exactly what you said. Tables were affordable. Now I think a table's like what, $400 or $600. I don't know, something ridiculous. But it used to be like a $50 table, and it would sell out super quick because it was affordable, and everybody was about selling their comics, their zines, their indie comics, going to Kinko's and printing up your books, things like that. And that has gone. And you have to adapt to change. When things change, the shows change, but I'm really glad that everything's coming back around. And I hate to sound like a prick, but it's like, we're not unionized. I know that Marvel and DC tried to get unionized many times, and they were killed from the inside. Their own people would kill them.
Speaking of that,
Ray Thomas was basically was one of the people that crushed unions and leaked that unions were trying to be set up, and then I read that in the Hidden History about Marvel, just like Bob Kane screwed over the guys who created Superman when they were trying to get their rights back and stuff. So it's always been inside sabotage amongst the professionals.
Actually, let me move back to the to the strike, and I'm going to move to the writer's strike for a moment.
Yeah.
I was on, I go on TikTok basically daily, and I watch stuff, and I follow a lot of creative people. There's one guy, I forget his name. It's Michael something. He
Right.
talks about writing. He's a writer for TV,
Right.
and he was coming in, and it came out in the news too, and that I forget which. I don't know if the basically the CEO was made public, but he basically said we're going to hold out till October until these people start losing their homes, they can't pay their bills, and basically they have to sign whatever we want.
Right.
All right.
This is a very rich industry. They can hold
Yeah.
up for a while. They can hold up for a year.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the part of the writer's strike is them asking these people basically, to really not write with AI. That's part of what they're fighting for.
And it's not just that, but the studios already announced in an article I was reading that they will use AI to determine that AI would determine what movies get greenlit. Like, why
Yeah.
you can let a computer decide?
That's the thing. That's the thing. And
how is that? That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
so, with that being said,
like, that's just dumb. Like, who's gonna?
It is.
Dumb.
But with that said, all right, and the writers gonna get hit. Without the writers, the actors don't really have any work. They I'm not gonna knock actors out there, but there are some actors I've seen in interviews, and they should have had a writer for them. Like some people cannot do anything without a script in front of them.
Yeah.
And
a lot of these actors like to ad lib shit too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the good ones, yeah. But
not all of them are good.
That's going to affect the acting in this. That's going to affect how films get made. Who's in there,
Sure.
So this is going to have
major repercussions
on the entertainment industry as a whole, not just Comic-Cons, but shows that were even greenlit to return in the fall.
Yep.
Maybe getting canceled.
Yeah.
There are things that could happen because now actors aren't going to be able to act. They're going to be pushing production later and later until maybe the show will stop being made. I mean, this is going to change things for people.
Right.
But at the same time,
another crisis, entertainment crisis.
Well, the last time that we had like the writer's strike, we ended up getting reality TV, which sucks. But
the fans join the demonstrations, but they won't fight for a better world, but they'll fight for television. It's like, do you remember Twin Peaks, when Twin Peaks was canceled and there was like demonstrations over Twin Peaks? I'm like,
I don't remember that, but I do remember how great that show was.
It was a good show.
But
you demonstrated for that show to continue.
But here's the thing though, think about it. The world is reality. TV is our escape. Comics are our escape. Books are our escape. So all this stuff, and right now Hollywood has been adapting books and comics like crazy.
Yeah. And video games.
And video games, yes. But when you look at those are what we need writers for. You can't adapt a good movie into AI from, like, let's say there was another Harry Potter series, which there's supposed to be a new Harry Potter series.
Oh yeah.
So can AI really adapt that well?
Right.
I
just think it's crazy that they're going to rely on AI to make decisions on future productions. Like, what?
Yeah.
The nuttiest thing I've ever heard of. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I agree.
Like, you're going to make the computer's going to decide. Like, just hearing myself say it makes no sense.
But that's what we're on track for.
It
You
doesn't
know,
make any sense. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
the only jobs will be inputting information into computers. That's
Yeah.
it. But
And like
here,
you said, they'll be green lighting. They'll be doing, like they just they're gonna take low budget actors, maybe non-union actors, and then just CG the likeness of other people on their face. They're doing that right now. We saw that with this new Flash movie, right? That was another actor playing the second Flash, and they
I
CG.
haven't watched it. I haven't watched it at all. I'll wait for it to come on streaming, and even then, I'm not even sure I want to see it.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like that's what they're doing. That's that's the plan. That's what they're gonna do. It's like, okay, they don't need real actors anymore. They can do whatever the hell they want. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's sad, but it's true. It's like, you know what I mean?
yeah. So
They really can do whatever they want. You know, and there's nothing we can do about it except go on strike. But what did Ronald Reagan do when the airline went on strike? They hired scab workers and fired everybody. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hollywood pulls the same thing. Disney did the same thing. Shame on Disney, but they did.
well, Disney's going downhill too. I mean, that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Listen. I am a diehard Disney fan, Disney geek.
Yeah.
A lot of my home is decorated in Disney, actually.
Yeah.
But Disney is. They're just dead in my opinion. The way they're handling stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, and then you have all this. Now you have all this stuff coming out about them with the pedophilia stuff, like
we're not going to get into that.
I know, but it's just like it's crazy.
Disney's just not a company that is as strong as it used to be. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But and again, that, like I said, we can do a whole chat on that. But let's get back to the idea of the strike and how it's going to affect things going on in the industry. Now, I was on TikTok before we came on live, and my first 3 or 4 videos were people talking about this. And I think some of them were overreacting. I got to be honest. I think people were making a big deal. I don't think people truly read what was in this, what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. But yes, like I'm looking at it from the promotion or publicity standpoint, because that's what affects the conventions, and that's what I'm curious to think about. They can't be on a panel, they can't be on this. Now, like I said, from what I understood talking to one of my friends,
right,
this only counts for current projects going on,
right.
And I'd like to take their word for it, but I don't know the contracts. I don't know everything. Who knows? This could be for anything. I hope it's not. I'd like to see specifically my friends, continue making money at shows. But if this is going to prevent them from appearing at shows, preventing them from doing panels, basically preventing them from making money. I mean, one of this says social media. They can't go on social media and promote themselves or promote a project. Well, even if they did it years ago, like that's what I'm curious about.
Well, what's ridiculous is that you think about all the actors in Hollywood, about 10% are the ones that are actually making it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody else, the other 90% are like literally just struggling from gig to gig. So you're talking about more expanding the homeless population in California, which is already bad. It's not gonna get better. It's gonna be worse. So I find that interesting too, from what you're saying.
Well, I mean that's they're not. When you're making millions of dollars a year, you're not caring if someone needs a $10,000 paycheck or
Right.
a 25,000, whatever it is. You're not caring because it doesn't matter what's going on with the people that make that make the movies for you. Once the money's in, that money's in, and you're getting paid.
Right. Exactly.
It's so yeah. I mean, listen, I me. I'm not trying to knock any company specifically. Although I did say Disney's basically dead. I'm not trying to knock any company.
You're not knocking Disney.
Oh no! I am I am not happy with Disney and the way they run things now. But
What is that based on political stuff or
I
I mean,
won't
what-
I won't go into it now because it doesn't have to do with what we're talking about.
Right.
This could be a private conversation later. This could be
I mean, I don't
something
really
we
follow
talk about on the air, but
Disney.
it's not. Let's stick to the topic and not
Like I
sidetrack.
was watching The Little Mermaid. I know a lot of people were upset about that, but it seemed
The new one.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, here's my take. I haven't seen it. The only ones I've seen that were live remakes was Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. Those are the only two remakes I saw.
How was the Aladdin? Was that good?
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't.
Wasn't good either.
It was. Listen, I'm not a big Will Smith fan.
That's right, he was
And he was.
I can't look at Will Smith without thinking about him smacking Chris Rock. And
But hold on. But this, not even that. This was before it. I wasn't a huge Will Smith fan to begin with.
Right.
I'm not saying he's bad at acting or whatever. I just wasn't a fan of a lot of the stuff he did. And when he was in that movie, he's one of those actors you don't see acting. You see him as he's
Himself.
Will Smith. That's it. So I just couldn't
Celebrity.
Yeah, I couldn't break Will Smith into the genie, like into that genie role. But overall, it was pretty decent. But here's my major issue. As someone who loves animation, as an animator myself, I think it is basically insulting to the companies or to the people who came before it and what the company was built on.
Right.
They were built on animation, and these movies are classics. And basically what it says to me, because you're not changing the story, you might have an extra scene or two in there, you might change a song up, but what it's telling me is you don't believe in your product strong enough to be an ongoing classic. These movies are set up. I'm sorry, what?
I see that with the way they handled the She-Hulk, that they didn't respect the.
Oh, you know how I feel about that. I refuse.
It seems like that was like an attack on the fans, and it seems like DC is doing the same thing. It's like, remember The Rock when he did Black Adam said we got Henry Cavill back and we're gonna do things the way the fans want them. Zack Snyder's film proved that the fans matter.
Here's the thing. I'm going to interrupt you there. I don't think the fans were huge fans of the Snyder cut. What I think they were a fan of Henry Cavill.
Well, I think they were divided. I think they were divided because there's millions of people that actually made that Snyder cut happen. They like to say it was an algorithm, but I was following the feeds on that for the last 3 years. So the fans were divided. I mean, there's a lot of comic book guys from the business that hated those movies. Even I wasn't crazy about Man of Steel when Zod got killed until I remembered, well, John Byrne killed Zod in the 80s and Kurt Swan killed Zod in the 60s. So Superman does kill Zod.
I get that. This is something we've had to talk about, and I know we're going to sidetrack here. But here's something you and I had to talk about on Facebook. We mentioned, you mentioned something about the Man of Steel movie, and I explained how I felt that Clark's parents really weren't portrayed as Clark's parents. And you're like, well, don't forget, in the original comics, they were killed. He was a double orphan there, But with that said, I'm 47. I was born in 76.
Right.
I grew up in an era, on the Byrne era, so where his parents were alive. I grew up with the Kents being as integral to the Superman myth as Jor-El is and Lois is and all those. They helped define the Superman's moral code that I grew up with. They helped define the stuff that I see that made Superman Superman to me.
Didn't you see the Christopher Reeve movie, the first one though? His parents both died in
Absolutely.
that one too.
Well, the father just died in that one.
No,
The mother
too.
I don't remember that in the original.
The mother,
No.
he's in front of her grave before he becomes Superman. He's actually in front of her grave.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But you know,
they both,
and although listen, it's a great movie, and I've watched it. I couldn't tell you how many times.
yeah, he doesn't become Superman until after she's dead.
I'm more of a I'm one of those people who am not a big fan of his portrayal of Clark, where he's this goofy, you know, bumbling guy. I like a George Reeve type of Clark Kent, or even a Dean Cain Clark Kent, where
Right.
you know he kind of he messed around with Lois and would screw stuff up even for her. Like he still got his job done, and he
Right.
wasn't always Mr. Clumsy,
Right.
And I like that about Clark. I like Clark to be, not a fool.
Right. Well, that's the thing. That the whole Clark Kent is a fool thing. That's all Hollywood. Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. So
He was never a clumsy person in the TV show of the 50s or in the movies. He was a smart guy.
Yeah.
He was outsmarting everybody.
and just getting back to the Kents, I used to read the Superboy comic. Like the classic stuff from the 50s and 60s of Superboy, the Kurt
Right.
Swan stuff. His parents were alive in there, although they looked more like his grandparents.
Right.
He
Right.
they were what's the word I'm looking for? They were always part of the Superman that I knew. And that's what I did not like about Man of Steel, that Clark did not grow up. One of the things I didn't like about it was Clark
Right.
did not grow up with the moral code that I know and love about Superman.
Well, think about what James Gunn's going to do, because he did that spoof on Superman.
Oh, he's going to make me put a
Brightburn.
bullet in my head. That's
Yeah,
what
he
James
did-
Gunn's going to do.
Yeah,
He's-
he did Brightburn, and that was basically like a horror movie of the Superman origin. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that. I would like to see it, but here's
It was
the
like
thing.
an evil Superman, an evil Superboy. I don't think he's going to do anything better.
Basically, okay, so I've mentioned Superman's one of my all-time favorite characters. Probably the favorite character, up there with
Right.
Zorro for me.
Right.
And I'm not a fan of James Gunn's work. I don't think that James Gunn does superheroes properly. I feel he sacrifices story for humor.
Yep.
And he made a comment on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. What is it? Inside of You, I think. And I didn't see it, but I saw the clip. I heard the quote where he basically, and I won't get it right, but he said Clark and Superman are two different people, and they need to be treated that way. But they're not.
Right.
Clark is Superman. Superman is, and I've always said this, and I know it's been said in other places, but
Right.
Clark is who he is. Superman is what he does. Superman's his job,
Right.
and
Clark is who he wants to aspire to be. Yeah.
they're not different people. There might be a little more confidence when he's in the Superman suit, because he can show the world. The reason he doesn't show the world that he's Superman is because he wants a personal life. He wants to be with
Wants to
everyone else.
Yeah. He wants to be a being. He doesn't want to be.
Yeah. So hold on, we got Anibal coming on. He says,
Hannibal.
"Hey, dudes, hey." So yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. With Superman, I don't think he's going to make a great movie. And now with all the, and I was going to hold out for hope and say, oh my God, he's going to make a Superman film that's going to be good. That's what I'm
Just
hoping.
the fact that
Right?
they're getting rid of the Justice League and bringing in the Justice Society of America without even establishing that they're from a separate Earth.
Hold on. First of all, I'm a big JSA fan, so I'm okay.
So am I. But
But
they didn't
here's-
establish the Earth. It's a separation of Earths, like the reality.
here's the well, they'll set up a multiverse, I'm sure. Anyway,
Mhm.
this is what's bothering me. They're bringing in too many characters at the moment to
Mhm.
say this is a Superman film. It's going to be, let's set up and throw all our characters into this world so we can start doing spin-offs movies.
So he can so he can kill them all like he did in Suicide Squad. Brought in all these great characters and then just killed them off like they were nothing. Again, it's a slap in the face to all the fans.
Hold
It's
on,
like
I got a comment here. I'm gonna disagree with you there. He says, "What's up, guys? Christopher Reeve's best Superman ever." LOL. He already knows how I feel. That's why he said it.
I was saying that there was a clip that 1988 that Christopher Reeve says that Hollywood has a sickness called sequelism, like that they're obsessed with the sequel, and they're always saying, well, we're gonna make it better than the first one. It's gonna be just like the first one. And he says movies that I've worked for. He didn't say Superman. He said movies I worked for.
Yeah.
They give you smaller budget. They promise you a lot of stuff, and then they don't deliver. But they expect you to have the same result for the next film.
Yeah.
And he was saying that it's an insanity that it's all about the money. It's not about the movie. It's not about the acting. And that was in 1988, before his industry, right?
Yeah.
And then the host says, "Oh, so you're talking about Superman 4?" And he started laughing. He said, "Well, I didn't say that." He said, "Did that happen with Superman 4?" But yeah, I mean, he's talking. He's
Yeah. It's listen. I mean, we should get back to the topic on hand. We sidetracked a bit, but no. But that's the thing. It is a, Hollywood just isn't producing quality content. They haven't for a while, and it goes to show. There's a few things that go. For me, I look at it and I see the writers' strike as, yes, they're trying to get a better deal for themselves, but at the same time they're trying to fix things. They're trying to, and this has never come out. This is my own philosophy on it.
right.
But at the same time, it's like all this crap that people have been tired of. Everyone's now we're taking this time off, and they're not going to, especially with the actors now going on strike, they're not going to be able to be producing stuff. Work has to stop. So
Right.
things could start getting canceled. That was, the garbage, under, poor quality that they've been producing. And when things finally come back, they might be able to start producing better quality material.
Hopefully, Hollywood doesn't know what anything is good anymore. They don't know good.
Yeah.
They're no good. It's
Well,
like I feel like they've really lost their way a long time ago.
Yeah.
It seemed like when they did Batman Begins, they were coming back, and then they did the Joker thing. It seemed like they were coming back a little bit, but then it just like they lost their way again.
Yeah. What's funny is I sent you I think it was an Instagram video. I sent you a video. And it was this guy talking about DC movies. He's like, "Hey, Hollywood, you want to make a good DC movie? Here, you want to make a good Batman movie? Just do Batman the animated series, but live.
Yeah,
Take Superman the animated series, but live.
Right.
Here's the thing, and this is I've always said this, and I know people are like, oh, you're stuck in the past. What Bruce Timm created with Paul Dini and Batman the animated series was the standard of what fans wanted. To this day, it's still the standard. It's better animation than they're putting out right now. The stories were much better.
Animation now is crap.
I'm sorry, what?
The animation they're putting out now is crap. It's horrible.
But there's a lot of different things. And you know what? The Superman the animated series, I always say this, that they did right. And they even talk about it in interviews about how they had trouble figuring out how to handle the show until the technology was based on Kirby designs.
Right.
Once they said we got to embrace Kirby, which they were all fans of, the show's look, everything kind of fell into place. So people need to remember who created these great, worlds and in storytelling. Now let's see. The Annabelle says the DC animations were the best versions of those characters. I don't disagree. I still rewatch them a lot
Right.
because they were so good, you know.
Exactly.
And I just want to see so much.
I just got a text a few minutes ago. I was just reading it, and I think sorry, it just is shocking. Good friend of mine at Magnum Comics. You ever shopped at Magnum Comics?
No, I don't. That's in the city.
No, it's in Yonkers. It's in Yonkers, at the border of Yonkers and the Bronx. He was
Oh
on
no. So it's
West
technically the Bronx.
236th Street.
Excuse me, that's the Bronx.
It's the Bronx, and you walk 2 more blocks here in Yonkers. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, I know. We're bordering.
he actually just passed away. Someone just texted me.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear.
That sucks. So sorry to tell.
Was he one of the owners or?
He was basically a staple. He was like the partner. It's gone.
Sorry to hear. That sucks.
The store closed a few years ago, and then they resumed it in a basement of a building.
No.
Just selling to still getting stuff through Diamond, but selling the stuff through the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the store closed maybe about 6 years ago, but they were still officially closed, like the store front, but they were still selling in a basement. And it seems like he's passed away. That's terrible. So,
yeah.
To those listening, if you knew who Tony was from Magnum, he is no longer. He has left this earth.
I'm very sorry.
It sucks. Going back to comics, this is and the shows, how things are changing, right?
But yeah, so let's get back to the shows, because that was what the topic. We sidetracked a bit.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Sorry about that, but it's just like I just had to say that. Like it's just it's terrible that he passed away.
Yeah,
he was a good guy. He used to intern at Marvel as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he worked with he was an assistant to Mark Texiera.
Really?
So he was Mark Texiera's ghost artist. He used to help him out with stuff. When he was an intern at Marvel. And he drew backgrounds for other guys too. Yeah.
No, I'm just texting Mike. I don't think he's popping on tonight.
It's terrible. But yeah, you have to always try to. Comic books has always been on the culling. I don't think there've ever been a time when they weren't feeling. Honestly,
I'm sorry for. I just read the
comics. They were struggling, even during the golden age when comics were exploding and everything was great. There was still a point, even at their high point, when Marvel was doing so well, they were always laying off artists, always firing artists, always cutting back. Think about Mark Gruenwald having to lay off people because it's all about shareholders and businessmen and board members. And, they're like, oh, well, we got plenty of material to last us for years. Fire everybody. That happened with Stan Lee. He had to do that when he was under his boss.
Mm-hmm.
Gruenwald had to do that. DC, Timely, they all, throughout the years, the comic books have always been, it's like a roller coaster ride where you might die and fall off the car before it gets back to the station.
Yeah.
The movies are like a boom, but even that's sliding off the cracker.
Yeah, well, they Hollywood really pushed and did too much too fast. I think they saw what because I've always said this. Listen, when Hollywood was really just even first coming up, they were looking at comics. I mean, they had movie serials of Dick Tracy, Captain Marvel, Captain America, The Phantom. They had Blondie. They had all these things.
Right.
From the newspaper strips. I mean, Batman, Superman, all of them were movie serials. Yeah. Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers. I can name them all. They went to the papers, to the comics, to the funny pages, to pull for stories, and the audience went nuts to see them. What the problem in my eyes, and again, I know this is sidetracking here.
No, it's fine.
What the problem is these days is there are fans out there that don't even realize these characters are from comic books.
Right.
People
Sure.
are not reading comic books like they used to, or newspaper strips like they used to.
Well, there's a bunch of idiots out there that thought that this Flash movie was part of the Snyderverse. Like the Snyder had something to do with it. It's like not at all. Yes, he was. They think that the Aquaman movie and all this was his doing, and then they're like, "Oh, we hate these too." It's like, well, he
Yeah,
didn't do them.
yeah.
It's
But
like
that's the thing.
it's the same actors, but it has nothing to do with him.
Yeah, but people need to see where
People need to read.
Yeah, I mean, but where the comics are, they, how do you get them? And you are, stores. There are stores that have been shutting down because people
Right.
aren't buying books. I will promote any comic shop I can. I always tell people mine is the Spider's Web, located at 887A Yonkers Avenue in Yonkers, New York, across from the casino, where I will be this weekend. Well, just on Saturday. Kids Day 1 to 5, drawing free for kids, so feel free to come along.
Right.
And it's these stores need business, need people to be there, need people to continue to buy these books. But if they're not producing good books, just like they may not be producing good movies,
Mm-hmm.
well, if they're going to the comics for reference, then they're pulling from bad stories. They're going to make bad movies, bad TV shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
nothing's really original if you think about it. I mean,
never.
even the DC Legends of Tomorrow, which was up and down, I would say hot.
Yeah. I never saw the last season. Finished the last season, but
and then I couldn't even finish any of those. I had to leave all of those shows. The Supergirl was too much.
Never saw the last season.
Yeah, I couldn't even watch the last 3 seasons. I was just trying to get through I want to see John Cryer as Lex Luthor, and I just couldn't. And it's funny. Out of all the shows, I thought Supergirl was the best of them.
Really?
But, yeah, but I mean, as far as like keeping me interested.
Okay.
But then they started doing the subplots, and then Black Lightning started imitating that, and the subplots weren't that interesting. It became all about like more innuendo and soap opera. Like I just saw the season
that's
for
the audience,
Superman, and it was like soap opera. Like, oh my god, it's just like I can't stand this. Let me just fast forward to the ending. Let me see it's like you get like literally like 5 minutes of Superman. The rest is like this drama, like schoolhouse drama. Like it's basically everything. Well, Legends of Tomorrow wasn't bad. It was more like Quantum Leap. But then they all Green Arrow. I was cringing for the first 4 seasons.
Really?
I really didn't like the way they did things. It was like I would say some episodes were great, some were but honestly, I feel like it was like Days of Our Life or General Hospital or The Young and the Restless with superheroes.
Yeah, but you know what? That's exactly what it was. It was the CW. They were targeting really teens and young adults. That we weren't the target. Listen, you and I were not the target audience for those shows.
Yeah, no.
All right.
You
were looking at teenagers and young adults. We watched it because we liked the superheroes. And they tried to give a little bit for the fan base of superheroes that they thought they can get in there. Right. But those shows weren't for us. That's the thing. It's like Star Wars. Star Wars, the new stuff wasn't for us. When we were kids, what was made was for us. Star Wars is a children's property.
Right.
But people our age can't get. I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt right now. We can't get over that the stuff that came after our era was not made for us. We want it to still be for us. So we bitch and complain and say things. But that's the thing. Star Wars was the new stuff was never meant for us. It was meant for a different generation of kids. Yeah. Then the garbage they made a couple of years ago was made for another generation of kids.
Yeah, which it is. It is. I think Star Wars has every generation has a new Star Wars. Like
exactly.
I skipped my own college graduation to see Episode 1, and I was kicking myself. I should went to. Yeah, me and my girlfriend at the time were huge Star Wars fans, and we were like, you know what? Let's not go to graduation. Let's go see Episode 1. And we did, and I remember it was a rainy day, and I was like, "Man, we should have went to graduation." That was terrible.
That's funny, but yeah, I mean, it's so a lot of the stuff that's being made for, on the superhero stuff that we were just talking about, it's not being made for us. We
No.
got to face it. We're getting to the age group where nothing is being made for us.
We're basically the old guy in the window yelling at the kids down the street.
We are watching like we're watching those oldies channels and catching old episodes of whatever, Chips and stuff now. It's not like we're not having shows made for us anymore. But we want to love them, we want to like them, we want to say they're for us.
Right.
And it's a nostalgic factor that we continue to read the comics which aren't being made for us anymore. When comics were made, everyone said, "Oh, they were for kids," and it became a very kiddie thing for a while.
Right.
And when we get back and you get like Neil Adams on Batman and Denny O'Neil, and they're really trying to bring him back, that was made for an era that I don't think I was born yet in that era officially, but when they were
little, we were there. Well, not in the 60s, no, but in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying, in the 70s. But it was I wasn't reading Batman books until the mid to late 80s.
Right.
So Batman was different, was a different character than what I grew up watching on the Super Friends.
Right.
Oh, we got a comment here from Mike who says, "I'm not the old guy." Yeah, I'm sorry. His birthday's in a couple of weeks, and he's what? I'm sorry. I'm in February. He's in August. I apologize. He's only a couple of months younger than me here.
How old are you now?
47.
Oh, I'm the old guy. I'm 49. Yeah. I'm going to be 50 in December.
Nice. But that's the thing. It's we got to know where this stuff is. So all this complaining we do about shows and TV shows, it's technically nonsense. And I know I do a lot of complaining, but I like to complain.
I found the clip of Christopher Reeve. Listen to this. This is Christopher Reeve. It was on Instagram, actually.
Hollywood suffers from a very bad disease called sequelitis, in which what the majors do is you take what grossed $100 million domestically last year and get the key ingredients back again and try to pump it up a few more times. Of course, the quality is a sliding scale of diminishing returns. And I think very rarely do you get a sequel that's an improvement on what went before it. Yes. Because often what they'll do, and I know this happened in the case of a film that I worked on, is they will make all the promises above the line. They'll get the heavyweights, the top actors and the director and whatever, and they'll say it's going to be wonderful. We're really going to go back to the original. It's just going to be great. But then they don't give you the resources. They don't give you the tools to go and work with below the line. And the audience now, I mean, listen, if the film is not spectacular, why pay the £4 or the $7 or whatever? Just stay home and watch TV instead. Yeah, that was Superman 4. Really? I don't like to dump on previous employers, but it is true that they want to reach their hand into the till again and come up with a fistful of gold, and they don't always want to put out what it takes to make the quality. They're agents and they're business managers and they're lawyers who have gradually taken over the business, and they don't have the love of films to make movies and not make deals. And Hollywood suffers from a very bad disease called sequelitis.
Yeah, I've actually seen that clip.
And that's exactly what it is. If you think about Man of Steel, you had Suicide Squad. Those movies did good. The first Wonder Woman did good. Man of Steel did good. Then you had Justice League that didn't do well. These are all like connected films, so they are kind of like sequels in a sense. Even though they're isolated films, or not, they still star the other. So the Shazams and the I guess the phase 2 of DC, didn't do well, and you see that with Marvel too. Marvel's in phase 4 and phase 5. And they're not doing well because it is kind of like a sequel where they just keep getting, let's get the big actors.
But the thing is, they're also now the people who made Marvel specifically large. Their contracts are over. They're like leaving the stuff. They're no longer doing the film.
They're too expensive.
Well, it's not even that, but I mean, like, they get signed to what, like a 10 episode, basically deal or something like that. That they have to have 10 appearances in Marvel films, and with that, they once it's over, it's over. It's going to cost more money now because they're bigger stars to renegotiate with them, but
Right.
but they're done. They to get from Iron Man #1 to Endgame was what, 11 years of our life.
Yeah.
They literally had a
But
deal.
gradually they were making less and less money.
Yeah, well, they couldn't do other work. They had to be around for promotion. They had to do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So, they couldn't. And I'm sure a company like Marvel could be tough to work for, because once you get big, now what happens? Well, you can't give the full scripts. You don't know what scenes you're really in. You don't know what's going on.
Right.
You have to keep quiet so that you don't accidentally let something slip. So maybe you're not going out in public as much or posting on social media as much.
Right.
So you could be also hurting your career a bit by doing things like this. I mean, but again, I never had a contract with Marvel. I don't know these things. I'm just making assumptions based on what I see.
It's a hypothesis.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to run tests to prove it. So right now it's just an opinion.
Well, I think the media is the test is reading the articles and seeing their results of how much money they're making, or how much money they're not making, rather.
Let's see. What does Mike say? He says, never yelling from the window. Oh, no. That's because you want to get up in their faces and just be right there and tell them,
I'm going to tell your mother.
No, that's when you tell them, get off your lawn, or you get the lawnmower out.
I'm going to tell your mother.
So yeah, I'm just looking back at the article because I'd like to end on that note, and we should get I've been doing this for an hour and a half tonight.
It's been an hour and a half already.
Well, you showed up 17 minutes late.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm in a cast, and it takes me some effort to use the restroom, and I am the old man in the window. Yeah. My hair hasn't gone silver yet, but
my beard has. So
according, my son just said it will tomorrow.
Well, I've seen you with different color hair. You've been known to dye your hair. We don't know if that's your natural color right now.
Oh no, this is my natural color for sure. This is my natural color. Yeah. No, I've colored my I do color my hair, but it's like McDonald's red.
Yeah.
Or green or purple or blue, or all sorts of assortments, all sorts of assorted colors, like Lucky Charms.
All the colors of the rainbow. Yes,
they're all magically delicious. It's like that's
so. Let's just wrap up, because I do want to. My studio, as I mentioned, doesn't have AC, and it's killing me in here right now.
You don't have AC? Oh boy!
I've told you this. Where I live, I can only have 2 ACs. So one's in the bedroom, one's in my living room.
You're in very big What's that?
So I'm sorry, Mike has a comment. It says, "Where's the eye makeup, Ray?"
Eye makeup?
Yeah, you've done a couple of videos where you've been in makeup recently.
Oh,
like reaction videos.
That's that's Jared Leto's Joker. It's an actual. It's like one of those Instagram mock-ups on the face.
Really?
Yeah, it looks good. It looks real, but it's not. It's actually just an app filter.
Wow, I
Jared
really
Leto.
thought
It has it's the Joker basically.
I really thought you were wearing makeup.
Oh, I look like a drag queen in some of them.
I know you do. But I wouldn't. But the thing is,
Jared Leto.
But here's the thing, Ray. Knowing you, I wouldn't put it past you to do that.
Or Robert Smith from The Cure. But I was trying to do, even though it was a Joker filter, I was trying to do my Buster Keaton impersonation. But it's like Joker meets Buster Keaton. It's like
Mike's laughing at that there.
He's like, hey, look, it's a fat lady from Mamma Mia. It's like John Travolta. Someone actually sent me, I didn't even know who they were, but I started getting a lot of followers because of those videos, those remix videos. And someone's like, I'm sorry, I can't take the filters. I love your videos, but the filters are just too much.
Was that your son?
No, it was a stranger. It was funny. But what's funny is like I started doing those remixes because some of them are viral and then you get more people on your page. I had like 79,000 views. But then I was like, and some were 30,000, 16,000. But the 78,000 views. And then the thing is, I was like, well, maybe I'll put artwork, then a remix video, artwork, and a remix video, talk about my book, remix video. I thought it would increase like likes on my art page, but no, it doesn't. Some people who like reels just watch reels, you know?
Yeah.
They don't care about your post.
So anyway, listen, right? Like I said, I want to wrap up because I'm getting very hot in this place.
Take your shirt, man. Let it loose.
Yeah, no, that's not happening here.
Do a podcast with no shirts on.
Ray, you've been on my podcast with no shirt on. Okay. Who do we got? We got someone popping in real quick. It is Mr. Mike Lopez. Credit and in credit chat.
Ray, very good. And we got a baby.
And a baby. Whoa, congratulations.
We got someone popping in real. You might want to turn your laptop on. Credit card and in credit chat.
Let me do some Ray Felix.
That's the hamming it up
with your eye makeup. Hilarious. I thought there was something we needed to find out about you there. I didn't know.
No, that's the Jared Leto Joker filter on Instagram. That's where the makeup came in. If you notice, the hair turns green when you have that on. It's like
I didn't even know. I thought you were bored being stuck there with your foot, and that's what you were doing now.
That's what I thought. I'm like, wow, this guy can't do anything right now.
There's a method to my madness.
There's madness indeed.
Trying to get more hits on Instagram.
Let's see, how many do you have?
It's been working.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go to Bronx Heroes Instagram.
My 9/11 remix video is the one with the 79,000 hits.
Oh my God.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Jesus. Let's see what we have here. Hold on. Let me go to Bronx Heroes Comic Con. Where's Felix? You know what I did find today? We redid my garage. So now I have a new studio that I broadcast. Because I have the baby, I can't go and broadcast down there today. But I found some original Tom Siaka.
Really?
I found a roach. Not a bug. I found a Ray Felix roach.
Yeah. I have to start the last 2 issues. I haven't put them out yet.
You know, I brought this up because I know we live in a world of multiverses, right?
Yeah.
But I said this to Grassi the other night. I think the Wiz needs to show up in Trumpland.
Yeah.
That won't happen.
You have
Well,
Black.
I gave him some suggestions for the Wiz. He didn't accept them. You know?
Yeah. Well, I won't say out loud what your suggestions were. So.
Did they have to do with enemas? No.
No. What do I
don't remember, but that's a good idea. Yeah, why not?
How about we start wrapping up?
What's the name of the little bird again?
Ajax.
Ajax. I knew it was some kind of product. Like maybe Ajax gives the Wiz an enema.
Right.
A colonoscopy.
Yeah.
What are you drinking today, Wiz? Nothing great.
Oh.
Look at Ray loves it.
I can't have you two together.
I know, but no. Imagine a crossover event. You have Astron, Star Soldier, right?
It's the Wizard, yeah.
And you have. I'm just visualizing the Wiz, Astron, and like Black Power together. But I mean, and the Wiz doesn't look any different than he looks like he normally does. So we're not asking you to like change up the character.
Maybe Astron and Black Power turn into like Hembeck looking characters.
I could draw them as Hembeck characters.
The Wiz can cast a spell to make them look fit into their world.
Right, like with the elbows, with the elbows.
See, it's a good crossover. I mean, and then they can. I mean, I haven't done Life's a Beach in many years, but then they can come to the beach.
There you go. They go to the beach. There you go. Yeah, why not?
Everybody's like, he's been sitting here watching you guys. Look at this. Like,
What's your son's name again? What's your son's name?
Baby Nate.
Baby Nate. I like that. Nate
Baby
the Great.
Nate the Great.
I don't know if you watched Ted Lasso. Nate the Great.
He was sleeping for a bit. I was gonna come on, and I was watching like the Transformers movie, and then all of a sudden he just like.
It was pretty good, right? I was
watching the original one.
Oh,
the '86.
Yeah, the cartoon.
Beast Wars is pretty good. I was
That's
watching the Beast Wars one.
I haven't seen Beast Wars yet, but
I didn't see it either.
I got a digital copy here, so it was pretty good.
How about you don't announce it out loud that a copy that's not supposed to be out right now? Yes, your reaction video.
There's reaction video.
All right.
It's like one of those like foreign like it's like ooh la la.
I should have a Bronx version of Saturday Night Live.
Somebody's tickling you with a feather in those videos.
It's like,
know what you should do, right? You should do a reaction video to this video.
Exactly.
Well, the baby just said, "Yeah."
He's like, "Yeah."
Oh my God, you guys!
No, you need to get a fan in there, or like a ceiling fan. Lopez has got a ceiling fan.
I got 2 fans blowing on me, and I don't have the ceiling fan on right now because the chain broke for the light, so the light has to stay on. I have to take it apart and install a new chain. I just been a little lazy to do so.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if I turn the fan on, the light has to go on right now, so it adds more heat.
Yeah.
And I got my ring lights on the side of me right now. So
I use lamps. What's going on? Buddy?
I just want to go turn the AC on and sit somewhere and maybe write or read.
All right. We'll let you go.
Well, hold on, because I got Mike on right now. I just want to know quickly because I'd like to end on the topic that we started talking about here.
Oh yes.
Which was how this
put my headset.
The strike. How the strike for the SAG artists will affect conventions. What do you think for someone, Mike, as someone who works with celebrities at shows
and the world?
Well, Michael,
together as
oh my God,
I'm doing Gary Owens.
People.
It's Ray. I'm gonna have to mute Ray.
I'm also doing Gary Owens. Go for it. Downtown Burbank. Michael Grazi. What I think will happen at conventions is I think business will remain the same.
Okay.
I think it's going to remain the same. I don't think it's going to change.
All right. I mean, listen,
I've been seeing some posts. I've been having some conversations, but but I've been reading posts online in like while I've been watching you guys and watching TV and hanging with a baby. I think I saw a post from a well-known actress saying that this is going to be a way to help spread their message out there. So conventions, I think, are going to just continue as normal.
Maybe it'll help artists get unionized because you got animators unionized, you got actors unionized, 2D artists unionized, but comic book artists.
It won't. I'll tell you why that won't happen.
Because everybody's a comic artist.
Well, it's not even that. You could say, hey, listen. Right, we're not going to hire you when I could go and get someone from the Philippines or something and draw the work for.
They've been doing that since the 70s. That's always.
Yes, but it doesn't matter now. They'll just outsource it all.
Just like they went to Britain and they started hiring everybody from 2000 AD. Alan Moore and Grant Morrison and all those guys. That was outsourcing too.
Yeah,
but they've always outsourced.
I don't think there's so many comic artists. I don't think they'll ever, and because also the thing with comic artists is it's more of a freelance kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So you could be a terrible comic artist and find a job somewhere. And then, I mean, it's true though, right? And, so you have that one job that you did and you're terrible, or you're not a good person and they don't hire you. So very true. Very true.
Yeah.
So, like, look at the Charlton comics. Those are horrible artwork in those.
No,
not all. Not well. Hold on. Not all of them. But
I mean, look at like the Flintstones, like those.
the Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle.
I'm talking about like the Hanna-Barbera ones that look like completely off.
The question.
Yeah.
Rossi knows.
I know the ones you're talking about. Yeah, I have a few of them.
Like those guys who drew those, I no offense, they probably the gold key books, fantastic. The Charlton books.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Marvel, they were fantastic.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Right. I just sorry if I offended any of the fans of the Hanna-Barbera Carlton books from the 70s.
I don't think there are any out there. So
no, I apologize if like you enjoyed like Pebbles and Bam Bam or Grape Ape or Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch comics, but
I found out recently that when they killed Gwen Stacy's in the States, the Spanish version of the comic never killed her. So the Spanish Spider-Man that was being published by Marvel had further adventures of Gwen Stacy alive.
Really?
They do that.
Yeah, and they were official Marvel comics, you know?
It's a multiverse.
Yeah, it was a multiverse.
Multiverse. There it is. Spider-Verse 3, The Return of Gwen Stacy.
I still have to see the second.
The second one was okay. It's kind of like left on a cliffhanger because it's gonna be like a Back to the Future 2 and 3 where they're gonna be released shortly. You know, he's like, don't ruin it for me, please.
Yeah, don't. I'll watch it, and when everything's on streaming, I'll watch it.
I
don't care going to the theater anymore.
I have to say, that one cameo of Nicholas Hammond was truly surprising.
Yeah, that wasn't happening, but that was a dream for me. that was my dream. That should have happened in a like Avengers film or something. You know,
maybe the third one, maybe the third Spider-Verse that put Nicholas Hammond in there.
Dude, that would have been awesome. I would have loved to have seen Nicholas Hammond in there. I was hoping. What was it that he made an appearance in?
What, him, Lou, and Rex?
The like the multiverse of Mad, like the Doctor Strange one there. Like he should have. They should have just made an appearance.
Well, the Multiverse of Madness was a lost opportunity, anyways. It looks
it was a terrible film, but it would have been a great.
It looks like Deadpool might be making good on everything.
Instead of America as the hero, they should have had Howard the Duck because he's lost in a world that he didn't create, right? So it could have been Doctor Strange and Howard the Duck.
And they introduced Howard, right? That was.
He's been in What If? He was in the Guardians flicks.
Yeah.
And he came for the fight.
They finally animated him properly in the last Guardians film.
I didn't see the last one.
But it was just, the movie sucked. I was like, they might as well make another reboot Howard the Duck since Howard, they're going downhill anyway. Might as well try to make up for what Lucas messed up on, you know? It's like maybe a Rocket Raccoon, Howard the Duck team up.
There you go. With Cosmo.
With Cosmo, yeah. Well, Mike's been going to the movies a lot, right, Mike?
No,
I
never go.
I'm talking about Lopez. Lopez is theater every weekend with his son. You know, he's
we go to the movies.
Yeah, you've seen every hot movie out there since.
Well, I mean the ones that I care about. Like I don't care about Mission Impossible. Dawn's going to see Mission Impossible. I could give her a rat's patootie.
Did you say that? Tom Cruise.
I hate Tom Cruise.
What? That's not American.
Oh, darn. I didn't even see Top Gun 1 or 2. How about that?
You didn't like Born on the 4th of July?
No, I never saw it.
What?
Tom Cruise is overrated.
No way.
I won't deny that, but back then the original Top Gun was a great film.
Not really.
How do you know? You never saw it.
I had no desire. I only see quality films like My Blue Heaven.
My Blue Heaven was a great film too.
You know that Tom Cruise's first movie was My Endless Love with Brooke Shields. I think he was like 10 years old in that. You know, he was in that movie.
Interesting.
I don't know if you remember that movie.
All right, on that fact, guys, I'm going to end the show.
Grazi sees where this is going. He's like,
he might be Green Lantern. That's the rumors.
What?
All right. So, as I said, I'm going to be ending the show now.
Well, no, hold on. Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner. Did you see that?
What?
Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. So
why does that make you unhappy?
It's because I said earlier they're adding too many characters to the film right now that it's not even going to be a Superman film anymore.
No, they're basically going to kill off all these people. You know, they're going to probably
they're not going to kill
to kill them off or something. You know,
no. I want to see it like the comic then where Booster Gold gets his arm torn off. You know, I want to see that happen.
Booster Gold gets his arm torn off
in the fight with Doomsday. Doomsday like grab and like crushes his arm in the original comic, and that's why he had that like metallic suit.
He's from Apocalypse. He's not from Kashyyyk.
Oh, I totally forgot.
I said Doomsday is from Apocalypse, not from Kashyyyk.
Oh, you mean in the movie?
See, I was sorry because you said Booster Gold got his arm ripped off, and I said he's not from Kashyyyk.
Oh God, just stop!
It's Star Wars reference. Jesus Christ! So he's not a Wookiee.
I'm sorry.
He's dying. He's burning up.
I'm just done. I'm done.
He's in the pressure cooker.
I've been awake for way too long.
This way, Ray, yelling from the window. Not Ray. Don't point. No, we got to point the other way.
All right, and with that, guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I had a fun time, or kind of a fun time talking tonight.
Oh, no,
it was a good time. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You did a good show.
We are the world. We are the children.
All right, guys, I'm ending this. You guys
are the ones.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I will see you guys Wednesday with my guest from ASAP Imagination. I'll see you guys then.